back to another episode of Just for Friends Trying to Figure Out HR podcast, where Jake, Lama, and I watch Dr. Green eat every week. And He just surprises us with different snacks. Please elaborate, Dr. Green. What are we having today?
We are having lobster crab bisque.
Okay, I had nacho chips.
I made it, though. I made mine.
I'm having a Celsius, so, and we're not sponsored yet. So
I'm having a drink that is not of the Pepsi variety, but cherry.
I guess I'm doing a PETA. I'm doing a PETA commercial.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets.
Yes, for 75 cents a day. For 75 cents a day, you can sponsor your own HR rep.
Fly away from here. Got it.
Beautiful. All right, guys, let's get into our topic tonight. So tonight we're talking about something that HR rarely wants to talk about, and it's dun dun dun. What happens when HR becomes the problem? What happens when, like, specifically employee relations, what happens when those guys need to be investigated? Who does HR for HR? So many questions tonight.
Well, first of all, HR for HR is a fucking myth.
It is. Straight up.
Sorry, I have to say that as a disclaimer. HR for HR is a myth. But you're right. Like, we're the ones that do the investigating. Who investigates us?
I don't think it's that complicated. For most companies, HR for HR is ethics.
Are they ethical?
It depends on the company.
So let's start here, right? Employee relations, these guys, for those of you fine listeners that are not in the HR world and you're like, what are you guys babbling about tonight? A lot of companies group HR into obviously one department, but you've got a couple of sub departments under there. Or unless you're like Superman and you run everything and do everything yourself, and you're a one-man team, you're going to have departments that, do different things. So you might have folks that run like your benefits, right? Those are your benefits guys. You've got payroll. You've got your HR business partners, maybe your generalists. And then you have your employee relations team. Employee relations team, these are your folks that do investigations. So when you find people out there in corporate America, submit your grievances, your complaints, your concerns via whatever resource you have. It usually ends up at the desk of Becky in employee relations.
She works there? Damn.
She's everywhere.
Damn it, Becky.
Like a cockroach. Can't get rid of her. Ideally, these guys, employee relations, right? These guys are supposed to be neutral, fair, fact-based, but that's not always the case.
No, Becky from employee relations has a brother that works in the mailing department and is dating the supervisor on the production floor.
And
had a baby.
From Manuel that works over in receiving.
Yeah. Right. Oh, she received something.
That was his pickup line. He had a package for her.
Yeah. New player unlocked. So, all right. So I think that the four of us have done enough investigations in our life to know that there are proper approaches, to know that you cannot be impartial to one side or the other. But let me ask you guys this, because there's like a really big stigma around investigations. And the stigma is that oftentimes the HR person that's doing the investigation tends to lean to the reporter.
I think there's enough evidence to say that is factual to a certain percentage.
Yeah, it's tough because oftentimes the perspective that you're getting is pretty it's very detailed from the complainant, right? So you tend to gravitate towards all those little minute details and the things that they tell you, and then when you venture off, right, to follow up, I think that's a big problem for us sometimes, is that we want to stick to those little facts that we heard, right, and then we don't get more details. And so yeah, so I know that it's tough for me, but um because I kind of feel for the person, right? Like sometimes, and not that I'm looking to like get them the story. It's just human nature where you're kind of you're feeling really bad. They might have been crying. I don't know. Like, and then you're
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm gonna find out. And then unfortunately, they're very accusatory, like, and it's very one-sided in that first discussion. But that's what makes a good HR employee relations rep, is like you can separate those facts and figures and do a good thing. But honestly, like that's where I lean at first. I always like, I'm like, man, this is a terrible situation. Then once you get down the road there, you're like, damn, I got duped sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. You sometimes we end up feeling like the world's biggest sucker, because when you kind of wrap your investigation and you've painted the most accurate picture that you have gathered through interviews, you're like, wait, the first person that I interviewed totally lied,
Yeah.
which happens like 70% of the time.
For me, I can tell you that since I've been in employee relations, and it was directly my job at one point in time. Oh,
The
oh,
dog
okay.
is
I was like, "Why are you over there moaning, Jake from HR?"
he's in pain. Leave him alone.
Oh. Anyways, so at the beginning, yes, it would be more of like, okay, you're telling me this story, so, but you're the first one, so you're telling me, and I'm like going, okay, yeah. But then, of course, you start doing it for so long, then you just become kind of like, oh, okay, that's sad. I hate that for you. Or in layman's term, for some of the past positions that we were in, I love that for you. But anyways, so I got used to not just taking the first one, but once again, doing 100 cases, it was a lot, and so you become, okay. We'll see, what we find out. That kind of stuff. That's kind of how I put it every time I do it. Now, of course, I do sometimes still get suckered, so no worries.
No,
But
no, zero judgment. I got suckered this week. I'm in a state of suckered. I
I
got
I
bamboozled.
I do want to say though, sometimes there is a perception that we are on the side of the complainant because we're just apologetic for the situation. Like we would reiterate our policy, right? That's not accepted here. That's not tolerated here. We're not saying we believe you, but we're just reiterating that, look, that behavior is not condoned here. We will investigate. And so the person that's sitting there is feeling like, yeah, you're on my side. You get what I'm saying. But in reality, I'm just giving you the policy speech. Like, I'm letting you know. Dr. Green is boring for Dr. Green.
You know, the one thing I will say, and I think this is where sometimes I wonder if it's worse to be new into employee relations or be so tenured with employee
All right.
relations. Oh, so you're laughing at me or Dr. Green?
No, Dr. Green.
So
Sorry.
tell me your thoughts on this, Mama Mel. Think about all the HR reps that they're new to employee relations. They can be over sympathetic. They can make mistakes by agreeing too much with the complainant versus the one that's more tenured, been in HR longer, and they've seen it all. But they have very little empathy. They have very little emotion. You know, it's all data driven. It's all factual driven. It's like, which one would you prefer? One that's over empathetic or one that's not empathetic enough? Because they're very rarely is the best of both worlds. Sometimes you're either too empathetic or you're not empathetic enough.
Well, I think when you first start in HR, it's very normal to become the sponge. And so you start to absorb everything that we are the emotional dumping ground for everybody. And everybody comes and dumps their personal, professional, whatever crises they have, they dump it on us. And when you're very new in HR, it's very, very difficult to not absorb. And then to your point, right, when you're a little more seasoned and you've been doing this, for a couple of years, and we can spot BS from the second you walk in the door. But I think you can still teach empathy. So even though you've been doing this long enough, or let me rephrase, although you've been doing this long enough, if you are a good HR professional, you know that that empathy facade can never turn off. But you can pull back to some degree. You don't become the sponge. You're just now kind of like to Lama's point earlier. You policy check, right? And so that behavior is not acceptable here. But even me just saying that now, I almost let it slip. Like, I'm sorry that's been your experience.
Right. Because we're agreeing.
I've been HR for almost 20 years. And it's hard to not let it slip. Like, that was just natural.
Yeah, it's because we care. And for those who are listening and understand that, HR is what HR is, you're right. We are an emotional dumping ground, and especially for anything and everything from your boss's boss complain to you, or to so-and-so's cat got ran over, or, whatever it is. We care, and I don't want to say don't care too much. Always care, because that's what we're here for, is the human pieces of those resources that are out there. We give the human aspect. So, but
I personally think we should change the word. I don't think it has to do with about caring. I think it's not a matter of caring in my mind. It's a matter of having enough empathy for all parties involved to stay as neutral as possible in the investigation. Because it's kind of like when you say the word care, it makes me think about companies that are like, we're family. It's like, no, we're not. We're not family. We're calling us family. It's like, we do care, but it's kind of like, I care about my kids. I care about my family. I care about my friends. I empathize with my coworkers. I empathize with my peers. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to come off being heartless, but there's a fine line between I empathize versus I care. Because if I care, I'm willing to sacrifice.
True.
Versus I empathize and I understand.
Potato, tomato. That's all I'll say.
No.
That's a really good point, though.
No, it is. It is. And the words you use are important. And it's crazy. It's a crazy job.
That's why, to me, if you work in employee relations, the one thing you should never, ever do is apologize. You should always tell people, I hear you. I can understand why you feel that way. I appreciate you sharing this with me. I can understand your frustration. Neutral, 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 neutral. The moment you start saying, I am so sorry, in their eyes, whether you intended it or not, you took their side.
Very true.
I'm not in employee relations.
No,
that's HR in general, not just employee relations.
You just said employee relations.
Look, I'm sorry. Not all of us have an assistant we can pass our complaints through before it gets to us.
Jealousy runs skin deep there, huh? Jake from HR.
I empathize.
Dr. Green, I love that for you, Dr. Green.
I was going to say it.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
So that's a really good thought. I don't know why that that's gonna resonate with me for a little bit. Because we're taught at least I was taught on very early that you should not apologize, at least not use the word sorry. Because are you sorry that they're getting terminated? No, their actions led them to where we are today. Are you sorry that they violated, a policy? No, their actions led to where we are today. So very early on, I was taught that you don't apologize. You can empathize, but you don't apologize. But it's just such a natural human reaction to be like, I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that.
Mhm.
Now, I don't want to say that I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think that's a better trait to have versus just being cold hearted. Somebody's venting their entire, like somebody, I'm being harassed by my manager, and you're just stone cold. Okay, what dates? What
Yeah.
time?
Who was there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Which
can I?
sometimes can get. Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Green.
Oh no, I was just gonna because now I'm stuck on Jake from HR. I'm gonna read what AI's version of this is. Empathy and caring are distinct yet deeply interconnected, often forming the foundation of meaningful relationships and compassionate society. However, empathy is understanding another person's perspective or emotions, while caring is the actionable, sincere effort to support that person's well being. Together, they transform understanding into compassionate action.
Well, this is why we do not use the word care, because there are certain actions we cannot take in our
Yeah,
position.
I was gonna say you kind of hit the nail on the head with I care about my kids, I care about my family, and if they need something or if they're going through something, I'm going to act on it. Versus if it's an employee of mine, I'm going to act just based off of what I need to do, but that's it. I'm not gonna get emotionally involved, or I'm not gonna get involved at all.
Yeah.
It's different. I guess the act behind it is different, I suppose. But no,
Yeah.
you're right.
You know,
I think that's a good point.
I think a really good thing that maybe we can discuss is like, employee relations, like what does that initial contact look like? Because this is something that every company I've ever worked for, I've always mentored or supported leadership or even other HR reps. And like doing this, it's a training that most people don't get. Is if someone comes to you and they're like, "Oh, Mama Mel, I was just sexually harassed by my manager, and then I was assaulted by Billy, and then Becky's been targeting me." It's like the first thing people want to do, like you said, out of empathy and compassion, is like, "I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry you're going through that." But you don't want to come off robotic. You don't want to be like, okay, dates, times. It, it's like, I think one of the
Mm.
biggest things I've seen that a lot of companies do and a lot of people do is they immediately go into, oh my God, thank you so much. Here's a statement form. Fill this out for me.
Mm.
They
You say
just, they,
they were telling you about sexual harassment and how Billy touched me and Becky was targeting me, then whoa.
well, the whole point is like, we want to make sure that one, we truly understand the whole situation. Because
Correct.
if I got a penny for every time someone came to me and used the word harassment, targeted, assaulted, discriminated, I'm like, well, first off, I appreciate you trusting me enough to come and speak with me about that. Can you give me specifics? Can you give me, some details as to what happened, what led to you coming to my door today? And they're like, well, I didn't get a promotion. Or,
Oh
well,
shit.
I moved departments and I'm hearing rumors. It's like, okay, well, who are you hearing rumors from? It's like, well, no one in specific.
Oh
They
god.
just people look at me. And it's like,
Yeah.
so people look at you. Well, that's not harassment, targeting.
That for
It's
you.
like, you help guide them to understand that, one, you don't want to invalidate their feelings. I remind people all the time when I tell them that, hey, this isn't that, or, hey, let's look at it this way, or let's talk about this. I always remind them, I'm not invalidating your feelings. You're feeling the way you feel for a specific reason, and you have every right to feel that way. But let's look at the facts. Let's look at what you just said. Let's dissect all the details you just shared. And then you just repeat it back to them. And sometimes hearing it helps them mitigate the problem before they even walk out of your office, or before a statement is having to be written, or an investigation gets prompted. I will tell you 50-50, it's an actual complaint versus someone's emotions, because people do not know how to separate facts versus feelings.
That's true. That's exactly right, because people are emotionally. This is where emotional intelligence would kick in. Do you have the ability to separate? Do you have the ability to self-regulate? Do you have the ability to have self-awareness? And that's the majority of people do not have that. And it's something they have to practice or be taught over and over and over again. That I understand I understand that you're upset. But let's go with the facts. The facts are this, and this. You feeling this way is not a fact. The fact is, Jake from HR slapped Big Llama upside the head. That's a fact. Jake from HR.
And that's why Jake from HR is hospitalized for a couple of days.
Jake from HR. Why did Jake from HR do that? Well, he saw the Big Llama at the Body Talk, and so he was not happy about it. Well, I don't. It's your emotion that put it in there that you weren't happy about it, but the part that was fact is the fact that you smacked Big Llama on the head.
So listen, I have the cheat code. I'm going to give you guys the cheat code for this, okay? The cheat code is the following. This is what I've been doing over the last couple of years. It has been very, very helpful.
You leave work
no
early?
matter if yeah, see me next week. No, whether you're just taking the intake, right? Like sometimes we just have to take the intake and forward it off, or if you're the investigator getting the initial complaint. The cheat code is as follows. You write down you tell them, like, hey, we take things very seriously. Obviously, we all have a version of this script. Mama Mel did want to hear my version of the script, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, her family must be there.
Yeah. But anyway, what the hell's going on? So again, here's the cheat code. So you obviously start with that everything, we take things very seriously here. We thank you for bringing that to our attention. Let me get that information, right? You start the dialogue and say, please explain to me what happened. The cheat code comes is that I have always written the statement, right? Like as they're talking, I'm typing or I'm writing my words down, and then I repeat it back to them in HR speak. I said, so let me make sure I understand this correctly. I said, I want you to hear this and approve that this is what you're telling me. And I'll say, so what you're telling me is you're alleging that so-and-so touched you inappropriately at the last company meeting. And you're saying that that 3 people were witness, and it was Mary, Jane, and John, whatever. And you're also alleging the following, that so-and-so, you were passed up for promotion as a result of bringing this to the attention of John. So like I phrase it in that HR speak, remove the emotions, remove all of the crap, right? I felt so violated, and I felt like everyone was like, you allege the following, and here's what you're alleging happened as a result. So when you read it back to them and then they agree, there's no argument there. Like you've removed all the nonsense, so that either the person who gets the report now has a factual guide to go with, or if you're the one that has to go with it, you've now separated and gotten acceptance from that person that this is the actual facts of the case. It's worked for me every single time.
Can I throw some ugly truth out there?
What's that?
No, I 100% agree with that method, Big Llama. I do. But I want you to envision some of the companies in the world where you have one, if not maybe 2 HR reps for 1,000, 2,000 employees. For those individuals, do you realistically have time to do that when you have a site that is very, very, very high relations oriented? A lot of times you have to triage it as quickly as possible to find out, is this a legitimate complaint or is this a whiner? And I don't like to use that term publicly, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're just whining because they didn't get a pay raise, they didn't get a promotion. They they don't like how someone looked at them. They don't like what was said. It's like, look, it's like, okay, I hear that you're saying that you're being harassed. Very quickly, like, what's going on? Give me details. Like, it's completely verbal. It's a 5, maybe 10-minute exchange. And then you move on because you're identifying that, no, this is a whiner, but you're obviously and professionally letting them know, look, I hear you. This is not an HR matter. This sounds like you have a complaint about your boss. You need to open door to their supervisor. And then you redirect them back to the appropriate open door channels, because it's not always HR that handles every investigation. I agree with you. If the resources are available, if the time is available, there's a lot of really good methods that work. But all of us on this call know that 60 or 70% of the time with companies, we're so overwhelmed with work and headcount, and we're not properly staffed. For us to do a job the way we want to do them, we honestly and physically can't. And that's why sometimes HR can come off heartless and look like we're neglectful or like we don't care, because we're honestly we're pushing the employees, like, get to the point. What's the problem? And we may not be doing it that bluntly to their face, but they feel that because they can feel our timeline on their conversation.
No, you're right. But you know, it's a good method. I think we've talked about it before. Is I ask the person, like, so if I know I'm limited on time, or even if I'm not, I could be fibbing. I will say something to the effect of, I have about 15 minutes right now that I can give you. And I said, or if you want, I can schedule some time and we can sit down and have a conference. I said, I don't want to cut you off here. If this is this, do you think it's going to take more than 15 minutes or so? If you think it's quick, let's go for it. If not, let me schedule some time, and then I can bring them at a better. But what that does is that it accelerates the discussion to remove a lot of the storytelling elements. So
Yes.
I've done that. I've done that too, because honestly, I want to get to the point as well. And like you said, if we're supporting 1,000 people and you've got 16 calls coming in, you can't spend an hour with this person. So doing that helps remove a lot of the fluff. And also, if it is someone who wants more time, you can schedule it down. Just say, I want to give you my undivided attention. I want to make sure, if it can't be done in the next 15 minutes or so, do you want to meet tomorrow morning first thing, right? Or would that be okay with you? And usually that works. So those are little tips and tricks for me.
My favorite is when you're walking out of your office and they stop you and go, "Oh, were you going somewhere? Are you available?" And it's like, "No, I was walking out of my office looking for you so we can have this conversation. Come on in." No, I was walking out of my office. No, I was not available.
Right. Well, I mean, if I'm heading home, I'm telling you, I'm heading home. I've gotten to that point too.
We know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then you have that employee that follows you to your car telling you their story. Because
that's true.
I'm just okay. No, I can walk with you.
I said, walk with me. By the time I get into my car, I'll put it in drive.
I've actually told someone straight up that's offered that. I'm like, I don't think that would look appropriate for you to walk HR to their car. That might create rumors.
Oh, okay.
So I do want to point that, if you're just new and listening to what this is all about, there are so many pressures from every single way that it has with employee relations. We have to think about things like, what are the expectations we're setting to the leaders or for the leaders? What are the legal risks that we're about to go through? What are the timelines? Because, you, and tell me if I'm wrong, but there are leaders who want it done like that. And we're like, you just told me 2 minutes ago. I hadn't even called Becky in the office yet. Like, you got to understand that there are timelines we have to follow. There's so many things in order to do it right. And I think that as you get all that laid out and how AI can help with all these things, I think it is quicker, yes, compared to what it used to be, handwritten and all that junk, or just typing it all out. And, the ways that has kind of gone away. But the expectations that you leaders who are out there, who have expectations of employee relations to have everything done quickly, don't even. Just don't say a word. Let them do what they need to do. Now, if it's been 2 months and they still haven't finished it, that's a problem. Then you have a bad employee relations person. But if it's been 2 weeks and they've interviewed 12 people and written up synopsises and already started creating a full report, okay, leave them alone, because all that stuff has to be done. Because if we present it, I got to be able to defend it in a court of law. If I can't defend it, then I'm screwed. So,
I want to say, like, I've become a fan of AI, but not for solving issues or like helping me with a problem. I've become a fan of AI because it's cutting down on some of the administrative manual stuff I got to do. So, for example, I will go into an investigation. I'll write down things. I'll take all my notes, right? And my notes are chicken scratch. Like, only I know what it is. It's like I write like, yes, the person's name, a time, right? I know what all that means. So what I've been doing is honestly dictating. Like I just go on, turn my microphone on, and I just, give my entire synopsis of the meeting. I'll say, met with employee A. It was at this time. It was this time. And then I put it at the end of my prompt. I go, please summarize and highlight key points to this discussion. Hit enter, and I've got this summary, which I probably would have written right in some shape or form, but I have it in 5 minutes, and I can move to the next individual. But you got to proofread that shit, though.
Sure. Yes, number one, always fact checked. So for me, I'm like you. I'll take a picture of my chicken scratch and put it onto Word, so I don't have to write it. Type it or dictate it, and then I tell it to put these in chronological order, create a timeline, make it all pretty. But 100%, whenever I'm doing those kinds of things where I'm teaching the team how to do those things, I always tell them the biggest thing out of all is it's great that it got written quicker. It's great that you're able to use it. Don't use it to solve problems. Use it to make your administrative tasks better. But always fact check. And every single AI has somewhere where it's written, it says, it'll say something about verify accuracy. AI is a tool. It's not for 100% accuracy.
Mm-hmm. I do want to pinpoint something. Everything you put in that computer is discoverable.
Yeah.
Please don't put stupid stuff in there.
Oh.
Unless you have an agreement between, like, we'll say use Copilot and Microsoft. They can have agreements with universities. Not only do I know that, but and that's where their stuff is bound by legal mumbo jumbo writing that stuff can't be released. However, anything's discoverable. You having a sense of humor is discoverable.
I know you not eating is discoverable.
But my point is you're absolutely correct, Jake from HR, because what you put in there can also be found out in the internet world.
Yeah, that's why you say employee A, employee B, and then you go back and you modify.
Because there's going to be that one HR rep that puts all of Becky's investigation in there and says, how do we fire Becky for this?
Right, exactly. Mama Mel.
Not how do we fire, but listen, a couple of episodes back, I think it's the end of season 1, we did HR versus AI. And I had some feelings about AI. And I pretty much gave it the middle finger, but we're besties now. And Copilot is my favorite coworker. And I just want to publicly apologize to all the AIs in the world. Please don't come for me. We are locked in. You help me write beautiful summaries. And I love you, girl. Thank you.
What makes you think it's a girl? Please.
My co-pilot is a girl. Thank you.
It's a they. Okay.
Listen, it's whatever it wants to be. I am a friend of AI. Please, when you get the launch codes, please remember
Skynet.
where I live. Yeah, Skynet, remember where I live, please.
Do not
So-
remember where I live. I didn't do anything. I loved you from the beginning. Even when Mama Mel didn't like you, I
Yeah.
loved you. I loved you before I met you.
I was
yeah.
immature. I didn't know what I was. I was also like very high on postpartum hormones, so I wasn't like speaking clearly. I'm sorry, girl, but we're
I'll
like
take it
this now. I'll take it back. So hold on. I want to go back to the approach because I very often, I don't know if you guys experience this too, but I very often get, I don't want to talk to employee relations. They're rude.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes. No, so
They're not
it goes back to,
rude. They're
right.
they're just numb to the complaints. So they're like, mm-hmm. And what else happened?
Are you sure, Becky? That's what happened.
So
Yeah,
I've
No.
tell people like what it's not that they're being rude. Oh, I got this new one recently. That interview felt accusatory. It was an interrogation. It was not, I wasn't being questioned. I was being accused. And I will say that as I was a witness to that conversation, I did feel it a little accusatory. But I just sat there and witnessed. But this person was like, I felt that this was accusatory. So I kind of had to, defend my ER counterpart and say, well, listen, employee relations is there to fact find. They are going to minimize the small talk. They are not there to build rapport with you. They are not there to be a partner to you. They're there to take your statement, essentially. And so it's not that they were being cold. It's not that they were accusing you. To Jake's point, they're numb. And also, they do this crap all day. They listen to people complain all day long.
Yeah.
Like I can never, if somebody from ER asks me, hey, how's your day going? I dare never complain to them because I know they're probably just on to the next complainant and just people that are looking for people to yell at. And unfortunately, employee relations gets a lot of that.
But I will say, like there are varying levels of HR professionals out
Mhm.
there. There are really good ER people like myself who again can make you feel like this is your world. This is your world and we just live in it and we're going to take care of you. But at the same time, when I come back and I give you the facts and figures, I can do it in such a way where I'm being just very clinical about it. So here's point A, point B. Thank you for coming. It's was not substantiated, and here's the boom, boom, boom. Right. So like I there's a way to do it to get to the point. There is a way to just kind of get, but again, you just have to. I think you just have to be open with them and be like, I want to get your information. Let's get right to the point here. What exactly happened? Who was there? Like again, there's a friendly tone you can get and you'll feel welcomed in it. But if you're that numb, maybe you need to take a break, take a step back. Like that's another thing too, is like the burnout is real for HR people. And so like that's another thing is like we feel like we got to keep moving and keep charging forward. And we're impacted. Sometimes we're just not having that day. Like all of us can have a bad day. So but if it's consistent, then you gotta check that person.
Sometimes you just got to put the employee in check too. Because
Sometimes,
I've had people are like, well, it sounds like you don't believe me. And I've had to remind them, sir, ma'am, I'm not here to believe you or not to believe you. That's not my job. My job is to verify all the information you're giving me. It's to substantiate or unsubstantiate every claim you're making. If I'm honest with them. I'm like, I'm not here to say I believe you, and I'm not here to say I don't believe you. So if you feel like I don't believe you, please know it's also countered with the fact that I'm being neutral. And I've had some people argue with me because I was being neutral, and I tell them, I was like, imagine if you're the one being accused, would you want me to be impartial toward you? So I have to remind them, my job is to stay neutral to both the accused and the alleged accused and alleged victim.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Green. You have the floor.
Thank you. But when neutrality turns into bias, especially perceived bias, so if we think about it, if employees feel judged, dismissed, or cornered, that's always one of the other buzzwords. I feel like they're pushing me into the corner. We've already lost credibility, regardless of the outcome. And so the thing that we want to think about is, does perception matter just as much as the process?
I would say the facts matter first, and perception is taken into consideration, because there are many ways and many steps that you can take in everything you do, and the words you use, and who you interview first, on what day you do it, during what time, whether it's after lunch, during lunch, who's present if you're having witnesses in the room. Everything can be a perception. So does perception lead the way? No, but it should absolutely be taken into consideration when all decisions and steps are being decided.
Absolutely. Especially, you can run the most perfect investigation and it can be spot on, but you can still damage trust if the experience feels unfair. And that's the part that really sucks the most, because then eventually what happens if they feel like it was unfair, which a lot of them do anyways, that they think the experience is unfair, not the outcome. But the whole point of it is that, one, it's not an overnight thing. Not everybody's going to come to you with their problems. You have to. What have we said in the last few years that we all four of us have said before? You have to have the buy-in. If you don't have the buy-in, then you don't get the results that you need, which is honesty, truth, integrity, etc. And we want those people to still keep coming forward to tell us when things do happen, instead of feeling like they're cornered into the room. And it just takes time and practice, and you got to know your demographics. So if you're new in the business and you're new as employee relations, my best advice is shut up, sit down for at least the first 3 months, so you can get the buy-in, so that you can get the people's trust, and then be able to take your investigations from there.
You must be a nice boss. Most bosses, you get in, they want you to make a difference in 30 days.
Shoot. Yeah, if I want you to do a bad thing.
What's my 30, 60, 90-day plan? I'm just going to put get to know the business.
That's exactly right.
We should talk about that on another future podcast, because that's actually one of the worst examples, or the thing that can set you up for failure, right? What you do in those first 30 days is critical. Like you can cement your reputation, or you can tank it in those first 30 days. So anyway, we should talk about that.
No,
I know I'm gonna scroll for a minute. I have a question I ask during interviews for myself when I'm the one interviewing for a job. I like to ask people, how long in role would you say I need to be before you expect me to start making changes or making a difference to the business, or before you start seeing my impact to the organization? Because if they tell me, 30, 60, 90 days, I'm not taking the job. You're setting me up for failure if you wanted me to make change my first 90 days. If you tell me that, I expect to start seeing maybe some trickling around 90 days, and more around 6 months mark is when I really expect to start seeing that return on investment and changes, that are being made, and the impact that it's doing to the organization. That's a little bit more realistic, because you want me to come in and start making changes in 60, 90 days. It's going to take me 2 weeks to get onboarded. It's going to take me 2 weeks to learn my own team. It's going to take me a month to learn the business. It's like, no, I don't want to come work for you, because then I'm going to hate my job. So that was my squirrel.
I'm going to squirrel with you.
I was going to say, I want to squirrel with you on this one too. Go ahead.
Let's do it.
Well, I was just going to say, I agree with what you're saying, Jake from HR, but please hear this with all love and and positive intent. I fucking hate the interviewer like you because like you make my job so difficult. I just need to know you got these basic skills and you want to ask me what makes a great employee. You want to ask me these nonsensical questions like, what does success look like to you? Shut the fuck up. That's success. Get out of my interview.
In my
But
defense, I don't ask the HR person that question. I ask my hiring manager.
No, I get it. No, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm going, Jesus, just shut up. Like we're done.
Just
like
shut up. Just take the interview and move on.
We're good. We're good right now. You're in a great spot. You're good. You're about to piss off the panel I'm with because you're gonna ask, what does success look like to you? What does a good employee look like? And am I the good employee?
Why should I work for you?
Just I like use the STAR method. Okay, I just want to make sure to let you know about the STAR method. All those things, all of those are absolutely annoying because what is success in the first 90 days? I hate that too, because I'll tell you now that if you went and asked my team, the first thing they would tell you that when I came in was the words that I said was, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to make any changes unless it's absolutely necessary within the first 90 days. Did that happen?
Learn.
Well, unfortunately, some things did happen. But
necessity's there. But I'm saying you cannot expect in those first 90 days that some shit's that you're gonna miraculously bring a culture of change. Like you got to learn what the culture is before you even set out to make any changes.
Correct. And
anyway, sorry.
I'll tell you. I'll ask y'all this because I asked this of my own employees when I do interviews. I do the final interviews because I don't want to be. If they get to me, then that means that it's ready to go. So I ask 3 questions, and I'll see what y'all's answers are. But if you had a theme song or a walkout song, what song would it be and why?
You asked this question?
I do.
First of all, I'm judging you. I'm being honest. I love this podcast because I can vent and give you my intrusive thoughts. You asked me that question, I'm judging you, and I don't want. Not that I don't want to work for you, but I'm thinking, who is this guy?
Well,
walk up song.
It's a psychological thing.
All I do is win. That's my walk up song.
That lets me know that you're not going to be a stick in the mud. It lets me know that you're going to be a little bit more excited and happier than most, but there's a lot of psychological things behind it, and that's how you figure that out. But so yours is all I do is win. I
was just saying that I don't like. I'm not taking credence to your question.
Mine's gonna be in the arms of an angel.
Well, if you ask me that question, I'm instantly like, yes, this guy's a baseball guy. Okay, my guy. Let's go.
Yay!
But also,
somebody finally said it.
But I'm gonna be like, Natasha Bedingfield, Pocket Full of Sunshine. Come on.
Okay.
Let's go. Come on.
If you get the song started, I'll know the words. Trust me.
Pocket Full of Sunshine.
I got love on his own mind. Yeah. But I think having different questions, not the typical. Let me tell you. Tell me what you feel is going to happen in the or tell me what makes you feel is a good HR person. That's not going to answer my question.
You ask some weird ass questions. What do you ask them next? Do they like mayonnaise on their bologna sandwich?
Oh, you lost me. Right there. I'm done.
No,
they're judging you on mayo. Why don't you hire them? Because they don't like mayonnaise. They can't sue me for that.
He's like mayo or Miracle Whip.
Can you imagine that
the
discrimination, the accusation about why they didn't get hired? It's like, it's because I'm Asian. It's like, no, it's because you don't like mayo.
I'd love to see what a judge would say about that.
That's when I do this. Thank you, everybody.
No,
like
the
mayo.
other questions that I ask is tell me a story of something that wasn't funny at the time, but was funny later on.
Oh God, you're opening up that window to harassment, because then they might tell you about when they got caught cheating with their now current wife by their ex-wife. Wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now.
Most people don't dump out their lives. Most people say, "Oh well, I sent the wrong person an email, and it had a bunch of emojis, and it's like, come at me, bro." And then I come to find out it was the vice president of HR. Oh, okay. But then the vice president of HR is sent back. That's funny. I like that. Now it's funny. It becomes a, oh my God, I can't believe I just sent that or did that kind of thing.
Listen, I knew the moment I lost a job in an interview when they said, "What books do you read?" And I looked at him and I said, "I don't."
Oh, you should have
I
lied.
don't. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. You're not going to catch me, with your. I'm not here to join a book club.
You
What's
should
the
have
last
said
book
the
you?
spicy ones. I read only the spicy ones.
I said, they go, "What's the last book you read? Do you read?" I'm like, "Listen, I don't read." I said, "I read articles." I said, "I read stuff for college." I said, "The World is Flat" is one of those books, like a business book, and The Art of War by Sun Tzu. That's about it, and that was like 10 years ago.
Don't be
And they're
lying.
like,
You read Playboy.
Yeah, you
well,
did.
I did for the articles. But like you asked that question, and I'm going to be honest. Like, no, I don't read books. I don't read. I don't like them. I hate reading. But what came out was no, I don't read. And like I can see the interesting, and they look at each other, and I'm like, okay, I just lost this job. So thank you. Anyway, we've been derailed and squirreled here. We have like 10 minutes left.
Well, no, now I chat GPT cringy interview questions. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
That is crap.
I'd be a cougar.
You already are a cougar.
First of all, I'm the whatever the opposite of a cougar is.
Okay, here I have.
I'd be a llama.
What's your villain origin story at work? Like what makes you cringe when you're at work? Like what's your gremlin? What makes you a grouchy gremlin when this happens? When something happens? That's
This interview question.
Shut up. But what's the one thing that turns you into a grumpy gremlin? Like unclear priorities, constant interruptions, meetings with no agenda, Sally cooking her shit in the microwave that's fish. Like what is your
that's a bad question. This is so leading. Like you can't sound good answering that question.
Well, it tells you about stress and their triggers, boundaries, and then how they handle friction when it happens.
I see what you're saying. I just
okay. You're teaching a brand new coworker how to work with you in 60 seconds. What do you say?
Don't ask dumb questions.
That would be your
What about you, Mama Mel? You've been very quiet, just kind of holding the fingers there.
I'm like mentally answering his question. So what was it? Turns you to a grumpy ogre, or what was the question?
Yeah, grumpy gremlin.
If you show up in sweats, go home and change. Go home and change. You know that's not allowed. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
If you show up in pajamas, go on, get
your ass home.
And then what was the last question? I didn't hear.
You're teaching a brand new coworker how to work with you in 60 seconds. What do you say?
Carl, I think it's my connection. I lost you again. You're teaching a coworker to work with you in 60 seconds something, and then what?
Yeah.
then
What do you say to
what do you
them?
say?
How do you tell them in 60 seconds?
Hi, I'm Mel.
No, what's your advice that's going to help them learn from you? Mine,
Yes.
honestly, would be, which is listen to everything I say, but please don't make me repeat myself.
Hmm.
That's good because it also teaches communication style, your preference, teamwork, and emotional intelligence.
Mine's quick.
I think I would say like the most cliche things. Like, I'm here to support you, lean in, touch base with me,
Buzzwords.
let me know. Yeah, like let me know what your learning style is so that I can acclimate to you. Like, I'm just a pocket full of sunshine.
Gotta love that it's all mine. Yeah.
All right,
Um,
you're training a new
Well,
coworker in 60 seconds. What's one
ask
thing you wouldn't
Jake.
say to them?
oh,
Ask Jake, because Jake came in and I was like, I onboarded and trained him. I don't remember what I told him of the first 60 seconds.
Hmm.
does this shirt make me look good?
I don't remember what you said to me.
Uh,
Me either. I probably just said a bunch of cliche things.
okay, so the last question that I ask is, what's your harmless weird at work?
What
Basically,
the fuck?
hold on.
What-
Let me.
What's
I'll
your
give you an
harmless weird?
What's your harmless weird? What it means is harmless weird at work, which is an example. You're a color coder, so you have everything done by colors, or you talk to yourself, or you narrate your to-do list, or you have 47 tabs open on the computer, and I just want to smack you because you have so many tabs open, you wonder why your computer crashes. But that should.
Do we have HR for this show? Because I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Act. Singled out.
Feeling weird about these questions. Like I feel cringy listening
You
to
are
you
full of
ask these questions.
You are full of crap because you know that you would love to be asked this question because it's not normal. It's not the. I need to know if you have self-awareness, what your comfort level's like, and how you show up day to day. That's
Okay,
what all
so-
that means.
Okay, so here's. I think this is my grumpiness kicking in. I think I know what you're saying, Dr. Green. I understand what you're saying, and I know what the point of your questions are. But if you asked me those questions, I think you're full of shit at that point. As me, I'm not saying you, Dr. Green. I'm just saying me as the person being interviewed. When I hear that from the interview person, whatever, interviewee, whatever, I kind of want to flip your table and be like, "Are you serious right now? Like, let's talk skills. Let's talk scenarios. Let's talk like things that are actually relevant. You want to talk about my feelings, emotions, and my weird? I want to kick you in the
But
throat.
you
I
know
want to
why?
throat punch you.
You know why though? It's because by the time you've gotten to the leader of HR,
Yeah,
I already know what your skills are like. I already been told by these last people
that's what I said.
interviewed.
I see what you're saying. I kind of will look at you weirdly. That's all. I'm
So,
sorry.
like,
Maybe
Wants
this-
to
Dr. Green,
punch you.
if you ask that question about what's your weird thing in HR,
No, not what's your weird thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna think you're
What is-
talking about. You're asking me like about a kink. I'm gonna be like, I was a
hey,
freak. I
what's the
don't know.
question that I want to?
No, what's your harmless weird at work? Like some people.
What's
just
my
talk.
harmless weird at work? I would
Yeah.
tell the person interviewing. I would say interviewing candidates and asking them awkward questions.
And that's why you're a smart ass, and so is Big Llama. Mama Mel's the only one that says stuff about kinks, so she's the weird one. But
What's my harmless weird? I don't eat from the cat lady's potluck. That's my harmless weird.
I like that. That's good. That would be a great answer.
You know what? I would answer. I think that's what I would say. Like, you're a harmless weird. I don't eat potlucks, especially if you have a cat. And then hopefully they don't have a cat. And I just shot myself in the foot.
Oh my god, I have 8 of them. One of them's name is Becky.
I'll see myself out right now.
And
You know
we're
what? I want to know if anyone in HR is retired that has a bunch of cats named HR phrases. Like, LOA,
Ooh.
come here, LOA.
Where's Femlock?
Sit down, Papa. Sit down.
I know, Warren Act, stop that.
Oh my god. SOP, get over here.
Nobody outside of HR will get our humor.
know.
Nobody.
We're laughing at ourselves.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna
This
wrap
got
up
derailed.
tonight's episode. Which, Llama, good luck trying to name our episode tonight.
Yeah, I know.
So let's close out with some strong employee relations approaches, right? They should still be the expectations or explanations should be clear. There should be respectful tone, respectful body language, letting people speak without interruption, acknowledging concerns without agreeing or taking sides. But I want you guys, these are our parting shots. Give one piece of advice to an employee who has a meeting with employee relations. What how would you prep them? What would you tell them to get them ready for this meeting? Because it can be very intimidating, right? I'll use this example that I encountered not too long ago, which actually really ticked me off. Employee relations investigator, specialist, whatever, calls one of the managers and is like, "Hey, Friday afternoon, 5:45 p.m. Hey, I would like to schedule some time with you next week to talk about an investigation that you were named in." No information, nothing, no context, no nothing. This manager starts to freak out and is like calling me, calling their VP, calling their director. Just, I don't know what's going on. Like, what do I do? Am I going to lose my job? Like, they wouldn't tell me any information. I don't know what to do. Number one, don't freaking do that, ER. You don't do that to anybody. You give them context. It's almost like your boss pinging you, like, you got 5 minutes? I'm packing up my office immediately. I'm going. I digress. Anywho, one piece of advice that you guys would give to the employee as they prep for a meeting with employee relations. We'll start with Dr. Green.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about if we have a person who's about to start in employee relations. Is that what you said?
No, like you got an employee that is telling you, like, I have a meeting with Becky in employee relations now. I don't know what to do. Like, just one piece of advice that you'd give them.
I always say this, and I say it a lot, and I'm going to keep saying it until I die. Establish psychological safety.
Okay.
It's going to be something that you need, that we all need it. And we've all been through that time where we didn't have the feelings of psychological safety. And that comes, and I honestly, this is my opinion, it comes from the leaders at the top and also from the leaders in HR. And if you don't know this, if you're in HR, you're a leader. So act like it and show that psychological safety.
Mm-hmm. Big Llama.
Well, I think I'm hearing your question differently. I think if I'm giving someone advice about to go into, like, being in it, like if they're going to complain about something or if they're about to go get interviewed or something,
Yeah.
I would say, you know what, just jot some things down, jot some facts down, so that you can keep your story coherent. Because, and I tell this to people who are trying to, like, bring up an issue or have concerns about something. I'm like, stop. Your emotions can get the best of you, right? Even people going in for interviews, I always say, jot down those key things you want to relay and you want to remember, because unfortunately, in the heat of the moment, or if you're just expressing, like us, like we had a squirrel moment, right? And then we veered off for 15-20 minutes. If you write something down and you have something, in place, then you know where to sort of stick to your story, right? Of what you want to tell, whether you're being interviewed or whatever, or even the employee relations person. Jot down some key items from the allegation so that you know to keep the story within these lines. Because unfortunately, if you just sit there with someone, right, and you guys have a conversation, it's going to go a million different directions and you can't guide it. So anyone going into a meeting, write some stuff down. If you're the person who's being accused of something, make sure you have your facts and figures if you know anything about it. Or if you're going to voice a complaint, stick to some facts, get some key items here, because if you go on a tangent for 3 hours, it's not productive for anybody.
Uh-huh.
You know what? My advice ties in with Big Llamas, because I tell people all the time when I'm the one that's giving them advice, write down your facts on one sheet and your feelings on another sheet. You can give them both, but start with your facts and the tangibles and the things that can be investigated and substantiated through video, through witnesses, through evidence. And then you can discuss your feelings and what things made you feel that are less likely to be substantiated. And I also have about 4 minutes before my computer dies.
I don't know.
Toodaloo, bugaboo.
Take us home, Jake.
I think he's using the llama technique.
Yeah.
So I will tell everyone until we gather around the campfire again to do an employee relations investigation on you. Remember, we say this with much love.
Positive intent.
Bye.
I thought you said hate has no home here.
Well, that's another episode of the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR. We didn't solve anything, but hey, at least we tried.
And by tried, we mean we laughed, we overshared, and we probably violated some HR guidelines ourselves.
But remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take our advice. Seriously, don't.
And if your HR manager asks, you've never heard of us or this podcast.